Yep.
Okay, my name is Chris Dixon. I've spent a bunch of time at Occupation Actions across North America in the last month. I was on Wall Street 4 weeks ago. I was in Victoria last weekend. I wanted to just try and share a couple of things with you that I've learned from the Occupy Actions that I think might be useful for thinking about what we're going to try and do here. Does that sound like something you would like to hear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Very good. So just a little bit about me. I am not from Sudbury originally, but I've been living here for the last 4 years. I'm a longtime activist. I helped organize the direct action that shut down the World Trade Organization in Seattle in 1999. I have a lot of experience with organizing mass direct action and working in directly democratic forums. And I've been really excited by what I've seen in the last few weeks as I've been traveling around North America, and I want to try and communicate some of that enthusiasm to you and hopefully some of these lessons too, okay? I'm just going to say 4 key lessons that people seem to be sharing from a bunch of different cities right now that I think will be relevant for what we're trying to do here, okay? Number 1, I think Marguerite already hit on it, it's really important. We need to acknowledge the fact that when we use the word occupation, this land has actually been occupied for 500 years. Right? For that reason, we're on a Take Machine Anishinaabe territory right now, and we have to acknowledge that. For that reason, in many other cities, including Victoria, they do not use the term occupation. There is no occupied Victoria, there's the People's Assembly of Victoria. In many other cities, people are starting to take up this similar language. They're no longer using the word occupied. They say People's Assembly of, or they say decolonized, like decolonize Montreal. So that's something I want to put forward as a possibility. Okay.
Thank you.
Number two, I think it's really important to try and develop a clear and very intentional decision-making process so that we can be trying to work together and actually figure out what we're going to do together. And part of that is about having clear hand signals about making decisions. Part of it is about having people step up who are going to facilitate the conversation, who their job is basically to take a stack, take a list of who wants to talk and try and help move the conversation forward. Otherwise, it's just a series of people standing up here and sort of saying their opinion about whatever. And like on Wall Street, you basically would have a whole series for hours upon hours of random people stepping up and just talking about whatever happened to be on the top of their mind. You can't go anywhere with that. So clear, intentional process that's about trying to get as many people involved as possible. So it's not just people who look like me, i.e. white guys who are settlers, telling everyone else what they think, okay?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
We had a couple of situations in Occupy Toronto where a couple of people did want to speak and they were shut down. And they were one was a person of color, and one had an issue with an organization and they didn't want to hear about it. So I want to, it's really important that everybody has a voice. And the facilitators have to understand that, because it takes a lot of courage to get up and talk, especially when you've been oppressed for a long time. So that's something that's got to be mentioned, is that when this person is coming from their heart to speak, that they need to do that at that time. Okay?
Did everyone hear what she said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just communicate these last 2 things, and then I'd be happy to step down. I don't want to spend the whole afternoon talking. I was really hoping to talk for less than 5 minutes. Is that okay? Okay. So, third thing I want to share, I think it's really important, if we're going to continue being in this space together for days, or possibly weeks to come, or whatever we're going to do, let's think about how we can use the space to teach each other stuff and talk about stuff, right? I think it'd be cool to try, and many other Occupy actions across the continent are doing this, setting up libraries, inviting people to come give workshops and trainings, so that we can try and develop our analysis and our skills together, right? So that we can do cool stuff here, but also so in the future we can actually continue to do really cool stuff. So think about who you could invite to come into this space to do a workshop or a training, right? Or what you're interested in learning about or talking about. What kind of discussion circle can you set up?
Could you elaborate on the discussion circles?
Sure. I mean, a discussion circle on Wall Street, for example, people are setting up discussion circles on particular topics, right? Where you get together, maybe there's only 6 people who want to talk about something, but you can say, hey, does anybody want to come sit over here and talk about this thing that's happening? For example, in the United States, major foreclosures, right? People getting kicked out of their homes. That's a great topic to discuss. Not so relevant in Canada right now, although definitely people getting kicked out of their homes. It might be useful to talk about social assistance benefits and how that's happening here, or student debt and what it's like going to university and college right now. I think there could be great discussion circles on many of those topics, right? Process, how we're making decisions together, could be a useful discussion circle. Those are just examples. Okay, final point I just wanted to share is I think it's really important to see this action today as connected to ongoing work in this community, right? So we're not just focused on what we're doing here, but we're focused about building relationships with other groups and other sectors of this community that have been struggling for a really long time for social justice and environmental sustainability here. And just one example of this is John Clark from the Ontario Coalition Against Poverty is coming actually in the week after next to talk about the politics of austerity and how we fight it. Austerity meaning this whole economic system and how it's squeezing everything out of us right now. John Clark has a ton of experience with this. He's connected to OCAP, which is an organization in this province that's done really, really good work. He's going to be speaking on Wednesday, November 2nd at 7 p.m. at St. Andrews, actually just right over here. I think that would be an excellent opportunity for us to take some of our energy and discussion and go talk about it in that space. He's going to be talking at Laurentian too, if anyone's going to be there. Pass around these flyers and please take one if you're interested. The other thing is that some of us run a list, an email list called Sudbury Social Justice News that has 250 people on it. And we put out these lists of all the events and meetings that are happening in this city. And if you're interested in joining this email list, I'm going to pass around this clipboard and you can put your information on it. Those are just examples. There's so many other things that are wonderful that are happening in this city that I think we should see ourselves as connected to, not apart from. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're trying to change the world, right? Let's do it.
Good job.